Welcome to the Fairhaven Homes match of the round. We're at the beautiful Korumburra Showgrounds today for a big clash between Korumburra and Bunyip. Two teams desperate for a win, two teams who haven't tasted victory since round one when the Giants prevailed over the Bulldogs. And for Bunyip, it wasn't till last year where they tasted victory for the last time. I'm Aidan Box, and with me as always is my co-commentator Bailey Allen. Baz, who do you think has the edge today in the beautiful, true Korumburra conditions?
Oh, well, it's been 336 days, I found out, since Bunyip have won a game, round 18 in 2022, and the Giants have definitely improved from last year. Although they're still only sitting on the one win this year, obviously coming in round one against this very Bunyip side by 11 points. We commentated them at the Kilcunda game in Bass, and they actually ended up winning that third quarter against, a mid-tier sort of table side. So they've shown a lot of improvement under coach Paul Fermanis, and I'm going to back in the Giants today, Boxy.
Yeah, they look good. And you mentioned when we did that game, it was about a month ago, and they haven't had too many great results and great showings after that. But their ball movement when they did have the football, which albeit wasn't much, was really great. It looked really precise and fluent, and they looked really threatening against a great Bass defence. So they were able to score and put a lot of pressure on as well. So you backed them in at home today, but this Bunyip side, well, you don't get much more hungry than this. I don't think they have many other chances for the rest of this year, looking at their results so far. So I think they're going to come real hard out today. They had an extra bit of rest just before going back into the rooms, and they'll be fired up for this one. It's going to be a great one between two teams that sit 11th and 12th, but I think that won't mean anything today. They'll just be playing for pride, the jumper, and trying to get another win. Korumburra, we mentioned, starting that rebuild, they were sort of forced into it last year, had a pretty, forgettable season, if I'm honest, only with the one win, and they beat the Bulldogs last time out. They met in round one, like we mentioned, and it looked like they were going to get a few more wins on the board this year under interim coach Paul Fermanis, but unfortunately it hasn't come to fruition so far. They've been competitive in a couple games, they've just struggled to score this year, but I think today will be a bit different, and I think they're taking the right steps. I think Bunyip's a bit behind them at the moment. They obviously bottomed out. They lost a few players pretty early before the season started, which is never easy for a side. They lost a couple coaches as well, which we mentioned off air earlier. So it's never easy. They also don't have an under-18s, which is a massive issue around country footy at the moment, especially in this region. So I think they'll be fine. They're a club that always fights, and I expect them to be really hard at the contest today. But I think Korumburra is a step ahead of them, and then obviously teams like Garfield are a step ahead of them again. So they're at the bottom, but again, that won't matter today, Baz, as the rain's sort of staying away. I think we're getting for a great contest.
Yeah, and you mentioned before that this is probably Bunyip's last real chance to get a win on the board, and I would agree with you in saying that this is probably their best chance to pick up their first W of the season. But you have a look at the rest of the year. Round 16 they play Korumburra. I would give them a slight chance to beat the D's there. The D's again been a really underwhelming side, as they have been for a bit now. They played Dalston round 17. Outsiders there, but Dalston's defence is just really, really poor as well. So it would be a tough to win that as well. And then they end off the year with Nana Goom, which is, of course, most likely going to be a loss there. So you're right in suspecting that this is probably their last real chance, but it's not like Bunyip have been known as an unsuccessful club or anything of that nature. The last flag was in 2012 against Garfield, which was only 11 years ago. And as for Korumburra, in the terms of historical presence, I'd say Bunyip are much better in that department. Korumburra, I'm pretty certain they haven't won a flag yet in club history.
Oh, they have played a few grand finals, but as the Giants, they haven't been as successful. They used to be the Bulldogs themselves. But you're right, it's been quite a while between drinks in terms of premiership drinks for both these sides. But we're in for a belter today. I should mention congratulations to club stalwart Nick Besley, who plays his 200th game for the Korumburra Giants today, all at the one club. Had about 4 knee reconstructions at least, so he's a legend. He's also playing alongside a few boys he taught in primary school, which is another pretty cool thing, in Luke Walker, Blake Webb, Cody Walker, Lockie Smith and Joel Cumin, which is pretty cool for him as well. They had a banner and pretty good showing before after the reserves win. So it's a great day for the Giants regardless. They'll celebrate him. He's been so good in defence for them for many a year. So great to see Nick Besley out there in game 200. We've also got Zach Barrett on debut. in the orange today, so good luck to him as the teams look to be going to their positions, and we're nearly ready for this one. So we tick towards 2 o'clock. Beautiful Sunday for footy. This is Korumburra conditions right here. About as good as a day as you'll get.
Yeah, cold, windy and foggy. Haven't been to this recreation reserve since the game against Korumburra, I believe it was last year, and yeah, it hasn't gotten any better. The conditions still very foggy and cold up here in the hills.
This is real footy up here. It is a winter sport, so you got to crack in. Don't see too many long sleeves. I'll definitely be in one today. Either way, we're nearly set to go. Umpires going to their positions now. It'll be James Dunn and Anthony Hadrick to start us off. Umpire Jake Dennerly will throw the ball up. Bit of light rain coming in, nothing that should bother anybody. Surprisingly, the wind's not too bad here today.
Oh, it's about as good as it can get for Korumburra, but yeah, you're right, shouldn't have too much effect on today's game.
So there's the siren, and we're into it. Hadrick stalks the bounce, up it goes. Dunn wins the tap, falls to the deck, goes back in to try and get it on top of his teammate there in Dixon. And Zach Walker on top of that one. One of the returning Giants today alongside his coach for Marnus, Lockie Smith and Jed Harris for the Giants. Back in the middle, thrown up again, and they're all over it. A lot of bodies keen to get at the footy first today. It's good to see. So the outs for Korumburra, Christian Sewell, Mitch Sawyers, Jack Spencer and Curtis Morley. Great attack there from Stewart. The Bulldogs go inside 50 first. Bouncing ball will go over the top. Here's Grabham. Returned from that back injury last week. Gives it to Walker. He looks for an option outside defensive 50. Doesn't quite get one. Fresh airy there through the air from Petch. But the Bulldogs win it back. Bit of a sling tackle there. Which way will that go? Holding the ball. So the Giants able to get the ball back after that turnover. Here's Cumin. Shares it with Walker. Starting in defence today. Feels that one after he gets rid of it. No downfield. Play on, says the umpire. It's one in there and extracted. Here's Dixon. He can run, take a bounce inside 50. Does he get him on the board? No, bit of a scrubber there. Put it in the way for Marnus, but the Dogs are mopped up well. They've turned it over though for Marnus. Gets it back inside. Oh, tried to hit his teammate there. Handball missed. The Dogs are fighting. And they come away with it once again. High kick that might go out of the bounds on the full right in front of us here, their broadcast position. So pretty hot start to this one, Baz.
Absolutely. Some great contest between these two sides to start us off. So here's Robertson. Will play on from the free kicking. And that is a turnover there at half back, intercepting the Bunyip Bulldogs. And that's Stewart with it at the minute. So he'll do a short stabbing sort of kick and find the arms of Banks. Now he's going to assess what's in front of him. Looks to go down the line. He will. Finds a 3-on-1 situation, and that is a real easy pick off for Anderson. He runs off his line, kicks down to centre half forward on the right for Marnus leading. And what a great start for Korumburra. Just picking off at the mistakes from this inexperienced Bunyip side. For Marnus doesn't want to take the set shot, hits his teammate right in the middle of his chest. And that is now a set shot directly in front of goals.
It's Jay Walker, who was best of field last time these two teams met, having a great season.
So Walker, one of 5 walkers out on field for Korumburra today. Directly in front, looks to be about, I'd say, 35 metres out. So Walker calmly walks in for the first of the day, wind blowing it back to the left a bit, and that's going to go through for a minor score. Boxy 0-1-1, plays no score. Korumburra get the first score.
So wind playing a little bit of a part there, but that's the Giants ball movement we were really expecting to see today. Big game for them. They'd really love this win to improve their total from last season, and they've come out really strong. It's just that difference in composure that they've shown early. It's the reason they got that really good shot on goal there. Bunyip kick it out. Only goes as far as the 50, and the umpire has found a free kick at half-back. No advantage. So what can the Dogs do here? Big pack forms on the change room's wing. That's where Dykstra will go. Kick's good, but it's dropped by his teammate there in Ashton. And his kick's cut off. Jay Walker once again. So the Giants regain possession, trying to look for an option inside 50. Just kicks a high one on the header for Marnus. Big pack forms. Does he take the mark? 1-2 grabs, can't do it. Anderson at the fall of the ball. Here's Bunyip though. And the umpire's called high. So the Bunyip survived that one. And they try and exit once again. This kick's a good one out in front of White. Did well to make space on the wing. Plays on. Goes up that same wing. Tries to look for an option over the head though, and that'll go out of bounds. Right in front of the crowd in the Ross family stand. So a good start to this one. A lot of bodies flying at the ball. Korumburra have been pretty composed. Good to see. Dunn and Hadrick. Bandrew throwing clears them both, and Jay Walker just takes off. Slick handball to Cumin. He goes inside 50. Fermanis dropped the mark. Plays on though, able to pick up his own crumb. Turns around, looks for an option and finds one. So that's the class of Paul Fermanis.
Took the words out of my mouth there, Boxy. Just superb to remain composed and find that open, uncontested mark inside 50.
This is the first game of Zach Barrett, I think. And how special would this be? For his first goal in senior footy to open the account for the Korumburra Giants. Zach Barrett comes in, kick on the way, it's an absolute beauty! Zach Barrett draws first blood for Korumburra, and look at him get around him! The boys in orange are fired up today. An electric play through the middle from Jay Walker. He found his rookie head coach in Paul Fermanis, who mopped up his own work and found the chest of Zach Barrett. He's on the board. First goal in senior footy. Congratulations to him. The Giants lead at 1-1-7 to Bunyip no score.
That is one of the more entertaining first goals I've seen. You probably heard the car horns all around us. That was a great sight to see from Zachy Barrett. Well done, young man. So now back in the middle of the ground, Walker goes head first towards the ball, and we should have another stoppage here. In fact, we will. Bunyip already on the back foot. Had a couple of real tough losses in the past month or so against the better sides in the comp. Jay Walker absolutely smashed into the ground there. Bunyip just edging a little bit closer to forward 50. Hit out can't be won that time. Might get the clearance though. Incorrect disposal, not quite, going inside 50. Almost a mark there from Saunders. And they're going around the body. Is that going to have the bend to get back? Saunders trying to go across the line. But wow. It was a good looking kick. Just couldn't finish at the end of the day. But good signs for Bunyip. Saunders scores their first score of the day, Bunyip. Oh, sorry, Boxy.
So they're on the board. It's a good kick from Walker. He's found Finlay. Recruited from MDU this season. Brings a lot of experience to the Giants side. Here's Luke Walker. Returned last week after breaking his jaw against the Warragul Industrials. Played well too with a goal. He goes up the line on the way of Fermanis with the 1 mid, almost takes it. 3-on-1. The man mountain, Paul Fermanis.
You can already tell he's going to have a massive impact on this game. He is by far been the player who's been around the Sharon the most.
It's his sort of day. Big body, very smart footballer. Dunn and Hadrick once again. Dunn gets a nice deft tap in the way of Dixon. Can't quite take the footy with him though. Walker crashes in on it. Bunyip pick it up. We've got a handball option, they don't. Here's Greaves. He's claimed. So we'll have another ball up. Pretty good start to this one. Korumburra probably in front, winning a lot of the football, looking pretty composed with it. He's throwing and again misses the ruckman. They're fighting for it. We'll have another one. So both teams keeping their space, keeping the width, not too many players around it, which is good to see, especially in these conditions. You usually see a lot of bodies around the ball. Giants playing a spare back at the moment. Bunyip bring their spare up to the contest. Hadrick and Dunn once again. Just one trying to burst through there was Harris. Won the free kick. Did well. He tries to find Walker on the outer side. Brave kick. Punched away. It's in dispute again now. Bunyip should be first to it. They are. Great tackle from Walker though. They still extract it. Banks shares it with his teammate. Now they're going inside 50. White might just touch the paint of 50. Doing well there was Walker. He's had a great start to the game. Shares it with Webb. His kick finds centre wing. There's a free kick. And they call advantage, and here goes Dixon. He'll put the Giants back inside 50 for Martis. 1 mitt! Well, I called it before, and he's taken it that time. Only needs the 1 mitt, this fella. I think you're right, Baz. He could turn this game apart.
Yeah, he's having a great game at centre half forward. His leading's been strong, and he's just outbodying the entire Bulldogs defence at the moment.
So, Paul Fermanis, first-year head coach, from about 45 metres, dead eye in front, kicks on the way, might not have the legs. Well, it ended up having the legs, but not the accuracy. So, Korumburra being his second miss. They're 1 goal, 2-8 to Bunyip's 1 behind, Baz.
So Bunyip now exiting outside defensive 50. A little bit of a risky kick there, but was successful in finding his target. So now remaining at half back after the kick from White. Going down the line. Good job, Wolf. So the Bulldogs just seeming to play this slow, composed brand. A big kick, really outnumbered there was the key forward, and had about 8 different Giants on him, and then they looked to go through the middle. So Byron Walker gives it off to Jay. He's been really strong so far. Alloway, did he have a hand in the back? Not sure. And the Bulldogs look to recover here. Although the Giants' pressure is really just putting them in a chokehold down there in defensive 50, and eventually goes over the boundary line, and we'll have a boundary throw in Boxy.
It's one of the things that's got to please new president Ken Myers and Paul Fermanis as head coach. They haven't had a lot of opportunity to show what they've got this year, not obviously having the football as much, playing against some top sides, but you can see that when the Giants do have the pill, that they move it really well, and they've got some talent out there, so it's really promising for their future. So we'll have another stoppage. Half forward for the Giants. They've started this one well. Been impressively composed around the contest and on turnover. Alloway will go up in the ruck, but instead it'll be won by Jenkin. Free kick to Korumburra though. They pay the advantage. Walker inside 50. It's a Jay for their second. No. So missing again there, the Giants.
So Jay Walker seems to be the other guy having a monumental impact in this game. I reckon he's already inching closer to about 10 touches, I'd say. So Bunyip playing out of full back. Kick down the wing. Here is that man we were just talking about in Jay Walker. Been absolutely superb. Fermanis had to really climb down to get it. And then from 50, yeah, swings it across his body, Fermanis. He loves it as well. What a goal. An absolute score and a half from Paul Fermanis. And geez, Korumburra looking good, Boxy.
Nearly hit the umpire, Jesse Boyd, there in the celebration. Had both arms pumped and they got around him. You love to see it. It's a young side, this Giants team, but they all love their head coach. Obviously, he came in under a bit of pressure with Lee Cole leaving in the pre-season. But he's done pretty well considering they've been ravaged by injury once again. They've got a good side in today though. He's loving it and he's put himself right in the guts for this one. Finlay rises up, wins the tap, goes nowhere though. Here is Fermanis trying to dive on the footy and win it for his side. He does. Left foot ball goes forward for them, but he's turned it over. So the Dogs out to the wing. 1-on-1 here is won by Stewart. Did well and he takes off. Puts the Dogs inside 50. Not the best kick. Oh, he's tried to claim the mark and he's paid. That is one of the strangest marks I've ever seen paid. Nonetheless, Chase Saunders has a chance to put his side on the board with their first major.
I think
The 200 gamer in Besley is absolutely befuddled by that because it did hit his chest first.
Yeah, I think Chase got a bit lucky there, Boxy.
So, regardless, we'll put that behind us. And Saunders has got this shot. And the umpires... So, heaps of confusion here. Saunders has quite a while. The Giants tell him to play on. The kick's on the way. It's an absolute beauty, but it's curving. And the Korumburra wind saying that ball doesn't lie in that occasion. And it's another behind to Bunyip. They've got 2 of them. Their only scores. And they trail by 13 points. Baz, explain that.
Yeah, Saunders just looked really confident after that one, but couldn't put the finishing touch on it. Great mark from Korumburra at half back. So they've been really good in going through the middle, but also using the wings when they need to. A lot of blue, red and white around that contest. Korumburra still come out with a footy somehow, but not before the umpire blows his whistle. And hang on, we've got something starting here at the Ross family stand. Both teams getting into each other here. I reckon about every single player from either squad. Wow, they're lunging at each other. They're just going to play on.
Throwing the ball in.
They just decided to play on here.
Play ball, Baz.
Wowee! What a decision there. So they're just going to send it forward 2-on-1. The Giants' disadvantage is that high. Umpire's not going to call her. In fact, he will. So that's Koeman. He's just going to wait for the numbers to flood back. Gives it off by hand to Jay Walker. And then hits the chest of his man in Zach Walker. And what strange scenes there. And they've
50.
paid a 50 as well. So a massive brawl right in front of the Korumburra home crowd has now resulted in a goal for Zach Walker, and the Giants are playing a really good brand of footy, Boxy.
So if you want to know, if anyone wants to know what his team thinks of Paul Fermanis, that's it right there and there. He was on the bottom of that pack. The Bulldogs were trying to get in his head, get into him, and didn't they flock to defend their man? Probably not the best idea, but in the end it's given them a goal because Koeman was able to stay inside forward 50. The ball was thrown in, and well, he won a 1-on-2 there really, and he found Zach Walker. Their ball movement has been elite so far. The Giants back in the middle, Finlay and Hadrick. This one beats them both. Just bounces on the turf. Clearance for Bunyip, but it's marked by Dunn. Touch play on, says the umpire. Dunn was a bit confused there. Tried to claim the mark, and we'll have a stoppage as he's taken the ground.
It probably didn't go the distance, that one. It was a real high sort of kick.
So the crowd would well and truly be in this one now. You can hear the horns. They saw the feeling right in front of them there before, with a bit of that tough stuff, as they say. So it's centre half forward for the Bunyip side at the moment though, and they're fighting for it. And the umpire's caught a free kick from about 30 metres away. That is Jesse Boyd, I trust him, very experienced umpire. So the Bulldogs have had a great chance here to finally find their first. The umpires just conversing with each other. Stewart getting involved, a lot of fingers being pointed. And in the end, the free kick finds its rightful owner in O'Halloran. So O'Halloran goes inside 50, great mark. Robertson. Kick didn't look too bad, but it was read beautifully by Robertson there. So 17.5 gone. First term here. Giants lead it by 19 points. Brave kick in the middle, almost cut off. Is cut off. Bunyip win the footy, back inside 50 now. Trying to get through the tackles here. Here's Dykstra, handball backwards. Hadrick left foot inside 50. Decent kick, finds the chest. Can't take the mark though. Saunders, he looks a bit sore after that one. Grab him, mops it up. Free kick for something. Holding. Korumburra ball. We go the way of Lachlan Smith.
And the only criticism I have of Korumburra at the moment is some of their choices by foot have been really questionable. There has been a couple instances now where Korumburra have kicked it to 1-on-3s or 1-4s, and it almost resulted in a goal there. It was lucky that Saunders just couldn't hold on to that mark, but let's see what Smith and his defence can do now. Ball must have been a bit slippery for Kennywell. Dropped it clean out of his hands. Now in the back pocket for the Giants. Just using the ball really methodically. Beasley. Just looking at his options ahead. Leaning out to him was Finlay. Then he'll do another short kick. That might go through the guts here. Finlay is going to be tackled heavily. Just got off a handball though. So now he's got a couple teammates chasing hard for that footy. Bunyip still putting in a good fight though. And ball's going to be trapped under a contest here at centre wing, right in front of the Ross family stands. So ball thrown up. Rain starting to get a little bit heavier now. Not going to make the Bulldogs' task any easier. Umpire calls play on. Ball's lost. And a clearing sort of kick down the line. And a whistle's going to be blown here. So a downfield free kick will be paid. The Korumburra will retain possession here. And another great opportunity presents itself to go inside 50 for the Giants. Gives it off to a teammate who just booms it inside 50. For Marnus again. Brilliant use of the body. And he should have missed this one, Boxy.
Such a tough matchup, especially in conditions like today. You're tired, it's wet, it's a heavy game. Strong man, 10 metres out, makes no mistake! The Giants head coach has got his second, having an outstanding first quarter. And his side's following suit.
And Bunyip, I must admit, their setup behind the ball is just not good enough at the moment. The Korumburra Bina have had far too many options in the middle of the ground. They've had, like you saw there, Finlay came running for his man there, which eventually led out to a clearing kick on the wing. So Bunyip, they haven't had a good defence all year, but wow, they really need to step it up and start defending a bit better and setting up maybe a zone behind the ball, Boxy.
Yeah, so interestingly, both sides have a free player in defence, but Bunyip have been trying to get that player to the contest, whereas the Giants, who try and win the ball here, they're trying to keep that number in defence, and it's worked for them so far. The Bulldogs get it onto the wing now. It's a one-on-one. Grabham leads the race. Does well. Turns inside. Finds an option in Jay Walker. He's uncontested, so he'll just pick the ball up and put it out to the other side wing. Good switch. Here's Luke Walker. He's got an option over the top. Probably handballed a bit quickly there. Picks up his own work, though. Runs to his teammate. He's a bit sore there, too, and his opponent's sore as well. And he's been called holding the ball. So unfortunate there. Play looked all right, but great late pressure here from the Bulldogs. Shut that one down. Can they find a goal before quarter time? This kick will go up the line. A lot of orange jumpers around it, but it doesn't matter. They've got the footy out of the back. And now inside 50, the Bulldogs go. It's mopped up by the Giants, though, doing well. Here's Grabham again. And he shares it with Cody Walker. Having a great first half in defence.
Something I just noticed about the Giants there, they're playing their defence really high. So a lot of their centre half back sort of players, they're almost in the middle part of the ground. So you saw there at centre half forward for the Bulldogs, you had about 4 or 5 different Giants players rushing back. So that's the only thing I can really see stopping the Giants at the moment. If Bunyip just keep kicking overhead to guys like Saunders, and he can get uncontested marks out the back.
Yeah, they've got a bit of pace about them, the Bulldogs. So I think that is their way to bring this margin down, is try and get that footy out the back and use their leg speed. Try and counter the Giants over the back, because they're trying to move it really methodically, as you mentioned. So thrown up again, centre wing. Hadrick wins the tap, but Finlay won possession. And we've found another free kick. So free kicks are plenty in this first quarter. This one will go to Bunyip. So he'll let off with another one there. Centre half back. They'll have to play on here. Jenkins goes backwards, finds his man. Trying to move it with some short ball movement. Here's Sproles. He'll take off. Tried to look at the handball option. In the end, kicked it into that man. And it's ricocheted out on the full off the back of Squires. So not the prettiest play there. Alloway lets him know.
I know that would have absolutely stung in this freezing cold as well.
Be a pretty heavy ball.
So, boundary throw-in. On the broadcast side, Walker always in and amongst the contest. He's had plenty of contested footy to start this one off. Ball trying to work its way free. Korumburra win this contest. The handball choice was interesting. Had to go Finlay, who then turned it over. Luckily enough, pressure was applied by the Giants, had the numbers, and forced Daniel Wright out of bounds. 23 minutes in, 4-3-27. Play 0-2-2 on your Totally Workwear scoreboard. Korumburra probably having their best performance this year so far against the bottom place Bulldogs. Still looking for their first win. Grab him. Sets the ball inside 50. Barrett punches out in front of a teammate. Byron Walker just didn't get enough on the boot. And then Sproles will just calmly walk over the boundary line. Deep inside 50 for the Giants. Minutes ticking, you can't suspect there'd be too much time left in this first quarter. It's been a masterclass from Korumburra, something we haven't seen too many times this year. Bulldogs win this one. Right clearing kick. Almost found the chest of McLeod. He was pressured a bit by Grabham. Still can't find an option, so just has to go around the body. Was real pressured there. Out on the full. This is the one last chance for the Giants here, Boxy.
So it'll be Harris. Just hoofs it. True middle of the forward 50. Contest forms no mark. The Dogs are after it. In goes Wright. And out it comes towards Ashton.
He's had a real good past couple of minutes, Daniel Wright. He's been going in real hard at the footy in defence.
He's doing quite well. Here's O'Halloran. Goes up the line again. Decent ball movement, but the mark's dropped. Coming away with the Giants. Little kick inside 50. I don't think that was paid. He played on anyway. Shot at goal. Always to the near side, out on the full. So probably could have taken their time there. Maybe he didn't know the pressure was coming. Either way, no score. Bunyip holding up pretty well. This last 10 minutes in defence. Big kick to the wing. Coming over the back with Saunders. Can't take the mark. Ball out of play. Just beside the Bunyip coach's box. So over 26 minutes gone now. Opening term. Giants have been superb. Rain starting to fall quite heavily compared to what we had at the start of this one. Big kick to the wing for Bunyip. Who's there? Almost taking the mark in front with Steele. Able to mop up though. Spun around in the tackle, but handballs it straight to Robertson. Now the back O'Halloran, ball out of play where it started. So as the ball gets a bit wet here, we're just seeing skill level drop a little bit. Still being pretty good to watch, despite the weather and conditions today. Finlay and Hadrick. Finlay wins that one, almost shoved out of it. Bunyip win the clearance though. Goes out in front of forward there, can't quite take it cleanly though. Holding free kick paid against them there. So they've turned it over and the Giants will get another shot. Walker, bit of a scrubber, will go out the way of Greaves and his man there and will be mopped up by Grabham. Shares it with his skipper and Kennywell. And he's got Cumin in a bit of space. Can he tap it over the top? Doesn't get to it though. Doing well there, the Dogs. Not the best kick exiting though. It'll fall along the wing and Smith will get to it and just scored it out of bounds.
So a real long first quarter here, 27.5 minutes now. And boundary throw-in. Only a couple metres out from centre half forward for Korumburra. Thrown in. Executed well by the boundary umpire. Trying to evade out of the tackle was O'Halloran. Giants working their way out. Was misread by the Bulldogs defender. Harris just has to send a Hail Mary ball up forward and goes out on the full. And there goes your siren to mark off the first quarter. Korumburra, they slipped off a little bit towards the end there, but wow, the first, I'd say 3 quarters of that first term was absolutely superb. Gave the Bunyip Footy Club an absolute bath, and wow, the Bulldogs now in the wet. They've got their work cut out for them to try and get their first win of the season. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back shortly for what should be a great clash at the Korumburra Showgrounds.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in love. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Winterland whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
Hey, I'm Michael Vanderkluster, but everyone knows me as Vander. I own a company called Vander Surf, and I've been making boards for 23 years. When I started, it was all hand shaping and templates off the blank, and then as CNC surfboard shaping machines came into more availability, I started designing on the laptop and designing in 3D modeling. It allows me to be creative, express, my artistic side of making surfboards. My favourite part of shaping boards is I really enjoy the interaction with the customer. I love making surfboards for other people. If I can make a board that's going to make them enjoy going surfing more, that's what I get the most joy out of.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
So we're back here for the second quarter in the Fairhaven Homes match of the round, and we had a ripper of a start there. Bunyip went goalless in that term, but they played some good footy. Both sides attacking it really hard, and Korumburra were just a bit more composed with it, and their ball movement looks great. Then the rain came, which sort of ruined things a little bit. It's still here at the moment as the lights actually come on. Bit of a dark day. Looks like it's about 5 o'clock, but it's only about 2:30. Teams are back out there for the second quarter rather. Bunyip, interestingly there, got in real tight in their huddle. I expect a bit more fight from them in this quarter as they look for their first major. And try and trim this deficit, which sits at 25 points at the moment. Ready in the middle once again. It'll be Hadrick and Dunn. We're set to go in the second quarter. Hadrick stalking the throw once again. They come towards the middle. Hadrick wins the tap. But Walker is claimed high. Wins yet another possession. Having a great match already, Jay Walker. He plays on. Goes out towards half forward. Tries to put it in the path of Fermanis. He'll still get there. Puts pressure on. Could have been a push in the back. Let the boys play, says the umpire. We'll have a boundary throw in. Just beside the bar area, which is absolutely packed, may I add. The Giants stand. Thrown in. Dunn wins the tap. Walker getting through traffic and extracting it well. Inside 50 go the Giants. Running past it was Alloway. Finding the footy, Cumin. Trying to move it on with a handball there, but it's going to sit at the bottom of this stoppage. So who can find a bit of space here? Alloway. Hadrick. Ball finds the deck. Picked up by Fermanis. Going nowhere though. A lot of bodies around it. Ditting and darting with Walker. Nowhere though. And the Bulldogs win the free kick at half back, Baz.
Certainly do. Opsa go down the wing looking for Saunders. Wow, it's a good mark as well. Well, he's going to be paid the free kick regardless, but 2v1, not a bad effort at all there from Saunders.
Had to sort of put the ball up and show the umpire that he marked that one actually.
Certainly did, and took his time to get rid of the footy. Eventually decided to go further up towards 50. Ball just tumbling around there in the contest. Giants now in possession, but it's ripped free from the Bulldogs. Still looking for their first goal. Given off by Hands. Here's Sproles. Then off by Hands. Goes forwards. And that's the first for the Doggies. Connor Steele. 2 minutes into the second quarter. And Bunyip now have their first major of the day. And they looked much improved around the contest there, Boxy.
That's something that young sides really love, just that big forward that can present and always give you a contest. And that was Saunders on that occasion, got them going. And we mentioned it before, if they're able to get out the back and use their run, they're dangerous, and they sure were there. Steele getting on the end of it, a great finish. Saunders and Sproles getting involved as well. The Bulldogs are in this one. The score's not going to be blown out, you know that, in these conditions. So absolutely game on. Hadrick and Dunn once again. Don't even bother leaping for it. Dunn wins a tap. Walker claimed immediately. Still gets a handball off. They win it back. Here's Hadrick. Big bomb inside 50. It'll fall to the contest. Getting around his defender there was four, but Blake Webb did well. Brings the Giants out of defensive 50. And it'll just be brought out of bounds there by Robertson. We'll have a throw in.
You can tell though the Bulldogs have really turned it up to another level to start off this second term. That's the problem with these younger sides like Korumburra+V+Bunyip. They can start off really good, but they can dip off as well.
Dunn wins the tap, grab him. Never really claimed possession. Dixon does so though. High ball along the wing, doesn't go too far. Cumin's under it, tries to take a brave mark. Pressure from behind though, spoils that effort. On the deck now, the Bulldogs. No one really going anywhere with the football. It's being tapped around like a pinball in there and sat on by Dunn. Who will go up in this ruck contest against Hadrick once again. They've just changed to they've flipped the switch to just going direct here, Bunyip, and it's worked for them early in this term. This one's run down. McLeod runs past it. He'll go out of bounds. I think that's really going to pay off as the game wears on as well. I think the rain's here to stay, knowing Korumburra. So it's that direct football that you have to really play, especially in a game like this. So you saw that last inside 50. Hadrick just woofed it in there, and I think that'll work. Questionable one there, but they win the clearance just. Jay Walker, though, extracts it, gets around a defender, does well, shares it with his skipper in Kennywell. He's got grab him.
Wonderful work there from Walker to find his option behind him and then get the uncontested mark in the pocket.
Just works so hard. Forward and back does Jay Walker. Starting to be one of the competition's best midfielders. Stewart can't take the mark, comes to Finlay. He shares it with Anderson, didn't really want it. Cumin tries to find Jay Walker, can't do so. Robertson didn't really have a teammate for a handball there, so he's handballed it to Bunyip. Dykstra's claimed by Walker. This time it was Zach.
So after the Connor Steele goal, it's been a lot more even between these two sides. Out here on the broadcast side, turns around his body and kicks it. Does White. Goes off the boot of a Bulldog. Still got possession here. Finlay did well to give off an attempt at intercepting that handball. And then they'll eventually give in and knock the footy over the boundary line. Boundary umpiring work has been brilliant today, might I add. No shallow throws have been given. Drops the ball. Still deep inside Bunyip's 50.
Just a quick one there. I think Joel Cumin, who just laid the tackle there, is looking a bit sore at the moment.
Just want to keep an eye on. Ball still tumbling around there. Should have another stoppage.
I know Joel pretty well though. There's no chance he's going off. Bloke could have a broken leg and you'd have to cart him off.
2015 Nat 5.
Bit in that. So the Bulldogs just going to have stoppage after stoppage here, Baz.
It's been a bit slow for the last couple of minutes. Bulldogs still sitting inside their 50. They just need an option to get out. Won't happen on this occasion. Giants exiting out. They got the numbers out the back if they want it, the Dogs. Needs to get rid of it. Did. Ball's now loose. Picked up by Dykstra. And the free kick was giving to Korumburra, and a little bit of push and shove in front of us here as well.
I think that was a late hit high after Cumin tried to go over the footy there. Just his good mate Luke Walker sticking up for him. As Cody Walker goes through his hands. Bunyip off the boot of Hadrick just go forward again, but no one home. It'll trickle out of the boundary, over the boundary line.
Hadrick hasn't been necessarily outstanding in his hit-out work, but I have noticed he's got a lot of possession of the footy. He's been able to get a lot of clearances to himself, so he's keeping his side in this.
So he's won the free kick here too. It was a good call from Jake Dennerley. Dunn pushed him under that one, which you can't do. Ruck free kicks can go either way, but that one was pretty clear. Hadrick might fancy himself here. Looks as though he is.
Dyke's just streaming for him.
Dunn's on the paint of 50. It'll be a big kick, and that it is. But I don't think it's going to quite have the legs. Falls to the goal square. At the bottom, though, the Bunyip Bulldogs. Oh. Free kick.
It's a Bunyip as well.
So there's been a few surprises today. I was getting excited for Gallagher's shot on goal, but instead Saunders has won the free kick against Grabham there. Must have been in the marking contest. He'll go with the snap around the body here. So for the Bulldogs, second in the term. Comes in. Here's the horns. No worries at all. Chase Saunders. The Dogs have got two straight to start the second. 2-2-14. As the scoreboard updates for me. Plays 4-3-27. 14-point ball game. They've bought the bite in this quarter, the Bulldogs.
Certainly got a game on our hands here. Chase Saunders has been so lively whenever the ball's gone down inside 50 for Bunyip. He will be one of a couple factors for the Bunyip Footy Club today as we just wait to resume play. I think we just had a couple interchanges made. The ball's being brought back. But here we go. Dunn versus Hadrick in the ruck. It's been a real even contest so far. They go toe-to-toe. Hadrick wins that one. Provides a real good punch. Doesn't really result in anything though. So we'll have an immediate stoppage. Rain still falling moderately down here at the Korumburra Bina Showgrounds. Picked off by the Dogs. Tumbling ball going towards goals. Here's Saunders, turns around the body, kick inside 50, looking for Steele. Do they have the numbers out the back? No, Kenny Well will just compromise and he'll allow the rush behind to go through. Still looks good moving forward, the Dogs. Wonderful defence there. Korumburra lucky to still have possession, slipping and sliding in the mud though. Ball was dropped. Going to go back inside 50 for the Bunyip Footy Club. They're playing great right now. I think that's Dykstra going hard at it. They want ball. Makari went to ground and umpire will go no. We'll just have a ball up. Yeah, sorry, it wasn't Makari, it was Grabham. So here we go again. Saunders in the ruck this time around. I think he was trying to get it out to Sprawls. Ball's still loose. Spits out of the contest. Korumburra being lucky enough to have the numbers. Just has to slap it on the boot. Here's Hadrick. Been big all day, hasn't he? Alloway put in a real good fight though. Ashton gave it off. And a turnover from Wolf going inside 50 sees Korumburra intercepting in a bit of time to find a better option. Alloway screaming for a boxy.
So Luke Walker instead looks for his cousin Zach, who will win the free kick here. So Zach returns today after a finger injury. Kennywell just puts his opponent down there. And Banks, not sure if Banks was trying to play for that one. Either way, Walker will just go up the line. Walker will have to come late to this one, but the mark's paid. Doing well there was Wright. He plays on. He's got a lead inside 50. Kicks pretty good. Comes to the back though. Mopping up with Greaves did really well.
Was really unlucky not to mark that one still. That was a really good kick inside 50. Just the wet conditions and pressure got to him.
Been pretty good today, Daniel Wright. The tallest fella. And he plays well for his size. This one's run by Saunders, who's just put to the ground there by Harris. Still fighting for it. Big pack around this one. And the ball will find a home at the bottom of this one. We'll have another stoppage. So the Giants just holding on at the moment. Definitely haven't seen that sort of dangerous ball movement that we did in the first term. Rain probably playing a factor. Conditions look like they're suiting the Bulldogs at the moment. Sproles extracts this one. Puts it out in front of Steele. Gets to it first. Tries to tap it on to Gallagher. Bodies fall on top of it. Extracted though, and the shot on goal finds the goal square and the chest of Cody Walker. Saunders will come back to the 9. Walker will have his kick. Ball spent almost the entire quarter so far in Bunyip's forward half. Walker's kick up the line in the way of Dunn. Is that a mark?
It is.
It is. Seth Ashton having a pretty good game on the wing. Inside 50, great kick. This is Banks. And I think he might have the shot here. Goals are starting to become pretty valuable.
Bunyip, their pressure from their forwards has been terrific, or not really their forwards even. Just Korumburra cannot find any option on the wing here, and their ability to lock it inside 50 and keep on getting those re-entries, something they haven't done all year.
So Adam Banks from 45, kicks on the way, looks pretty good. Does it have the legs? Not quite. Falls to the front. First to it, Gallagher. Can't quite get clean possession. Grab him over the top of it. And we'll have a stoppage.
Really thought Banks was going to get there, but just fell a little bit short. So now in the pocket. No hit out really one there. They'll go straight to ground, the Bunyip Bulldogs. Umpire will be happy to give a stoppage. As you see there, Saunders bit slow to get up. Now going back into the ruck, as he has every time it's been in the forward 50. Korumburra attempting to make somewhat of an exit. Punched out by Ashton. He's been superb. Dykstra didn't have possession of the footy. Was brought to ground though. Ashton almost dragged it in. Scooping was White. Had his kick smothered though. Fermanis had a guy on top of him, and then White eventually tapped along to a teammate, but that kick has gone too far and intercepted at half back by the Giants, Boxy.
So Kennywell Can the skipper get something going for his side? You saw Fermanis get himself involved in D50 there. He's under this one, but not inside the field of play. Out on the full. So let's see how the Bulldogs work this one. They've been direct in this quarter. They've wasted no time, and I've loved it. Into this one, up to their teeth. This one's inside 50 once again in the way of Gallagher. Bounces just in front of him inside 50 and out of play. Didn't mind the kick there from White. Probably just a bit too far. But Gallagher is a small forward, providing a little bit here. Be thrown in. Hadrick and Dunn. Dunn gets to it late but wins it. Straight out of play once again though. So the ball is, well, at the moment, getting its mail delivered into this pocket. Not really ever moving in this quarter. Dunn and Hadrick once again. Hadrick wins this one. Clean hands though was Gravham. Try to move it on to a teammate. They went nowhere in the end. And we'll have a third consecutive boundary throw in from pretty much the same spot. Rain still trickling down here. Beautiful Korumburra day.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. Typical though, typical.
Home conditions. That one's, well, you lauded the Angie umpires earlier, but that's not her best effort.
You can't really blame her though, can you?
No, not at all. The ball like a bar of soap, as they say. And I think the umpire might intervene and just chuck this one up instead. No, you're going to give her another shot. Everyone being really supportive. The ruckman coming a little bit closer. That one's a beauty. Dunn wins it. Here's Macri. Going nowhere with the handball. Falls to the bottom of the pack. And now the umpire will intervene and throw it up himself. So, sorry, but it's not the best, most exciting footy at the moment, but it'll break open.
You're just smelling Bunyip to break open at some point here. They've been really strong all throughout this second quarter, locking inside 50. They'll continue to do that with a stoppage. Inching closer to the face of goals. You're seeing Hadrick there. Now going to the ruck duties inside forward 50. It's been typically Saunders' role today. Comes out for Finlay. His kick is going to get no distance after a brilliant tackle. I think it may have been from Wright. And they really just can't get it past centre half back, the Giants. They have been pressurised all day. Thrown in, Hadrick wins, got it to Saunders, who's trying to burst his way through the pack. Giants are going to go to ground level. Falls on top of it. Bunyip calling for holding the ball. Umpire will be having none of it.
The longer this goes on, Baz, the more you think the Giants might just do well to hold off here and not give up any more scoring the way they've been dominated in terms of field position.
Yeah, well,
as we've just ticked over 18 minutes gone in this second term.
it just feels... Oh, as Bunyip are going to get a free kick here, but feels as if a goal is sent to come soon. Saunders goes inside 50. Punched loose by his forward in Gallagher. And that really should have been a mark for Korumburra, but great work from the small forward there and Matt Gallagher. So now in the pocket. Dunn, big climb to win the hit out. And we'll have another stoppage in the pocket, Boxy.
So as I mentioned, it just lived in this pocket in this second term. Conditions getting tougher by the minute. Saunders getting plenty of it. At the bottom of this one, Jake generally calls for it, he'll throw it up. Thrown up again. This time Steele wins it down. It's at the top of the goal square now for the Dogs. Can they get dangerous? No. Extracting it to the Giants. Oh, almost held in there by Bunyip though. After it there, I think, is Steele. Rather, it was Sproles. And we'll have a stoppage on the other flank.
Just had to mark that, didn't they, the Bulldogs? That was probably the best opportunity they've had in a long time. Really unlucky that the kick just escaped the grasp.
I think it might have been Squires there. Unfortunately, didn't grab that intercept. Thrown back up. Attacking this one hard as O'Halloran. Doesn't bring the footy with him, though. The Giants win the clearance instead. Here's Smith tapping along the ground. Now finding a teammate, but he didn't have much help. Holding the ball.
That's really unlucky because that's probably the furthest they've been up the ground all quarter as well, Boxy.
Sure was. I think it was Craven who won the free kick, and his kick will go deep up the wing. Almost cut off by Walker. Straight through his hands, though. You don't see that very often from Jay. Ball out of play. So we saw the ball momentarily almost trickle over Korumburra+V+Bunyi's half, but aside from that, it hasn't been there in this quarter. Bunyip have owned field position. Can they make something from it? They're first to this one. Can't quite get out of the tussle that is the contest, though, at the moment. There's just no space at all around contest inside 50.
At AFL level, to see where players have been, you've got your heat maps that are tracked on the GPSs. I just want to point out, you can tell where all the players been just from the wear on the turf here. You see it's all muddy down this side because it's just been trapped in there all of the second quarter, whereas this side of the ground, from when Bunyip didn't have a lot of inside 50s in the first quarter, it's relatively really fresh. So if Korumburra+V+Bunyip can just get it inside 50, they might be able to have a bit of an easier time instead of slipping around in the mud.
So Cumin won the free kick, shared it with Finlay. He's got Fermanus, but he slid out of bounds while taking the mark. We'll have a throw in. So that play looked promising, just a little bit unlucky. It's a real arm wrestle at the moment. Didn't expect it after the start we had.
Going to be a real long quarter as well.
Sure is. Doing well there was Ashton. Brilliant sidestep through traffic. Shared it with the teammates, and now they're going inside 50 again, the Bulldogs. First to it though with the Giants. Cumin puts his head over it. He always does. Wins the free kick there against Wright. High tackle. Harris letting him know about it. So Cumin's won the footy back again. He goes out to the wing. Greaves, who's bumped afterwards. No free kick though. Got to have someone work for him here. Short options where you think he'd go, and he does so. Back to Cumin. Gets bumped again. They're roughing him up in this quarter. Looked sore earlier. He's all right. Now he's got the first gamer in Barrett. What's he got upfield? Kicks it in front of Smith. Great kick, first gamer. His first two disposals have been absolute beauty. Zach Barrett. Here's Smith. The Giants inside 50. Cumin, third touch in the chain. What a couple minutes from Joel Cumin. He's got the mark inside 50. He's just going to suck him in.
How unfortunate for the Bulldogs as well to have possession for almost all of the second quarter in their forward 50, and then to give away an inside 50 late on.
So Cumin from 50 metres out, called to play on. Kick will hit at the top of the square. From the back, Dixon couldn't quite get there. Punched away, and now the Bulldogs are off. Up the wing, the kick goes. Over the back though, Grabham should get to this one. Pressured by the player that just came off the bench. Macri under pressure, Grabham did well. And here's Finlay, saving the day. Geordie Grabham did well there. Finlay, here's Walker in the centre square. Moves on immediately, puts it on the head of Fermanus. Great grab! I think the coach will just have the shot here. As Bunyip flood back. And I promised you it would break open. We hadn't seen it all quarter, but there's that Korumburra+V+Bunyip ball movement once again. And Fermanus will have a kick from about 45-degree angle. And kick from the paint of 50 for his third. Comes in, kick on the way. Will it come back? Hits the top of the goal square, and it's punched through by Bunyip. Doing well. So the Giants are on the board in the term. Sorry, Baz.
No, that's all right. I was just going to say
4-4-28 to 2-3-15 on the Totally Workwear scoreboard. They're in it.
I was just about to say the same thing. That's their first score of this quarter. Bunyip done terrific to keep it inside 450, but they just need a score now. They need to pile on the points. Or at least just get a couple goals on the board. As in these conditions, then it's not going to be a blowout. Uncontested was White. Now it's centre half back. Or rather on the flank, I should say. Slowly moving to Wolf, who cuts it inside. Real risky kick to Dykstra. Great overhead mark there. Plays on. Now looking, I reckon it was Saunders, or Steele rather, but they were outnumbered at the contest. So Fermanus was the bigger body. Had to just go for his fist to punch it out at the end of the day instead of going for it. Korumburra lost possession, dropped, but they might be out here. Kennywell sends it inside 50. Mark in the pocket there for Reece Dixon.
You hear the horns for that effort. The crowd's well behind their boys today, and they know how important it is.
They have certainly found their mojo once again in the last, I'd say, about 4 minutes. This would really, really hurt the Bunyip Footy Club if Reece Dixon was to score this one. Real tough angle. Drop punts. It's good! Dixon is loving it. And so he should. Toughest angle in footy. And that's a real important goal in the context of this game, Boxy.
So the Giants bite back, and so often in footy you can see that happen where a side just dominates field position, dominates inside 50s, but don't put the score on the board, and the other side goes down the other end and does so. There was that ball movement again. They're just smarter, they're cleaner today. And Reece Dixon, who's provided an option all year, been a great recruit back to the club, gets his first on the day. Back in the middle, midfielders weren't really ready for Korumburra there. Cumin saves the day with a good tackle there on Wolf. And against the grain, the Giants go. Crucial goal for them there. One back in the middle though, and that'll do it. So that hurts even more for the Bulldogs. That goal from Dixon coming in the last minute of the term. It was a real arm wrestle, but the Giants in the end lead at 5-4-34. To the Bulldogs 2-3-15. They were able to get their first 2 goals of the game, the Bulldogs, but in the end, the Giants showed great nous and smarts there, held on, won the arm wrestle in that term. And they still lead. It's the Fairhaven Homes match of the round. We'll take a break and be back with you shortly.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in the groove. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Winterland whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
Hey, I'm Michael Van Klooster, but everyone knows me as Vander. I own a company called Vander Surf, and I've been making boards for 23 years. When I started, it was all hand shaping and templates off the blank, and then as CNC surfboard shaping machines came into more availability, I started designing on the laptop and designing in 3D modeling. It allows me to be creative, express, my artistic side of making surfboards. My favorite part of shaping boards is I really enjoy the interaction with the customer. I love making surfboards for other people. You know, if I can make a board that's going to make them enjoy going surfing more, that's what I get the most joy out of.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. I'm going all the way up. I'm letting go in my heart of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in the groove. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Winterland whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
Hey, I'm Michael Vanderklooster, but everyone knows me as Vander. I own a company called Vander Surf, and I've been making boards for 23 years. When I started, it was all hand shaping and templates off the blank, and then as CNC surfboard shaping machines came into more availability, I started designing on the laptop and designing in 3D modeling. It allows me to be creative, express, my artistic side of making surfboards. My favourite part of shaping boards is I really enjoy the interaction with the customer. I love making surfboards for other people. If I can make a board that's going to make them enjoy going surfing more, that's what I get the most joy out of.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
Michael Vanderklooster, but everyone knows me as Vander. I own a company called Vander Surf, and I've been making boards for 23 years. When I started, it was all hand shaping and templates off the blank, and then as CNC surfboard shaping machines came into more availability, I started designing on the laptop and designing in 3D modeling. It allows me to be creative, express, my artistic side of making surfboards. My favorite part of shaping boards is I really enjoy the interaction with the customer. I love making surfboards for other people. If I can make a board that's going to make them enjoy going surfing more, that's what I get the most joy out of.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in the roof. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Winterland whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
Hey, I'm Michael Vanderklooster, but everyone knows me as Vander. I own a company called Vander Surf, and I've been making boards for 23 years. When I started, it was all hand shaping and templates off the blank, and then as CNC surfboard shaping machines came into more availability, I started designing on the laptop and designing in 3D modeling. It allows me to be creative, express, my artistic side of making surfboards. My favorite part of shaping boards is I really enjoy the interaction with the customer. I love making surfboards for other people. If I can make a board that's going to make them enjoy going surfing more, that's what I get the most joy out of.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
Welcome back to the Fairhaven Homes match of the round. We're at the Korumburra Showgrounds and we've got a belter here today. Conditions aren't perfect, but the match is a ripper. It's Korumburra currently leading 5-4-34 to Bunyip 2-3-15. Two sides looking for a win. Bunyip for their first of the season and the Giants for their second. Sitting at the bottom of the ladder, but with some of the play we've seen today, it doesn't look like it. Crowds out in force, as they always are here at Korumburra, regardless of the weather. And they showed out in the first quarter, looked like they're going to run away with it. And then the Bulldogs showed great fight, great courage. And barring that late goal to Reece Dixon, really won that second quarter. They started playing direct, but if I am to be critical of them, I think they wasted a few opportunities where they went direct, but the thing about going direct is you have to hit a chest or you have to hit the space, and on too many occasions in that second term they just kicked it to the same spot, kicked it to the pack, and we had boundary throw-in after boundary throw-in instead of goal after goal for the Bulldogs. So I'm sure they're not going to worry about it. It's in the past now, but they've got a half a footy ahead of them to see if they can get their first win of 2023. Finished 7th, one place out of finals last year, had a tough year this year, but no opportunity like the present. And they trail by just 19 points. Definitely not out of it. What have they got in this second half? Hadrick and Dunn will get us underway once again. There's your siren. Throw from Jesse Boyd. Here it goes. Dunn and Hadrick probably a tie that one. Dixon taps it on. Coming hard was Harris. Slipping over though in the middle. It's very muddy in there. Gets in the way of Luke Walker. Can't quite trap it. Falls forward for Bunyip. The bottom of it, Kennywell. Bodies flying everywhere. You can see how wet this ground is right now. We had a lot of rain in that second half and over the half-time break. So, might see a few players slip over in the second half. Hopefully not at crucial times. Dunn and Hadrick once again. Down the throat of Dixon. He drops it to the deck, picks it back up again and kicks a sky ball up the field. I think he was out of bounds when he kicked it, was he? The umpire says out on the full. Field umpire comes over to converse. Fingers pointing. Jesse Boyd will confirm a boundary throw-in. Still waiting. I think there's a bit of confusion, so I'd assume that, yeah, it went out on the full. So Dixon's kick out on the full here. Bunyip have won it back. And they go back into the centre. Great kick. And it's marked by Dykstra. Been huge for them this season. Goes inside 50. It's a beautiful pass. McLeod. I believe it is. Might be Hughes. So the Bulldogs, as they did in that second term, they've come out hard and have got the first shot on goal. It's a 40-metre kick. Slight angle. Kicks on the way. He'll hit the top of the square. Late fly and it'll be rushed over the line by Kennywell. So the Dogs pressing once again. And they're on the board first.
You just felt as if that was a really big opportunity to score a goal though. Korumburra at half back. Good mark taken. So they'll look to keep going down the wing perhaps. In fact they will. Big booming kick right to the centre of the Ross family. Stenformanis came flying through. Wonderful lead. Jay Walker had a real quiet second term. Got the handball out just in the nick of time. Didn't really have much distance behind it though, because now it's all clogged up. Congestion all around the field, but now it's opened up a little bit more again for the Bulldogs. Continue to sock it off. The field here, Saunders, inside 50. Turns around the body and he was trying to cut it across. But Walker was just the better man at the end of the day. Came bouncing off the chest of his teammate. They've just got to pick it up and read it properly here, the Bulldogs. You can't stress how important a goal would be to their first win of the season. Right here, right now. kicked inside 50. Can anyone lead? Still almost. And didn't have enough space around out in front. Was that Dykstra? Almost got it. Was pressured far too much. Kicking out. Bulldogs continue to re-enter inside 50. The Giants defence standing up really well here. Holding the ball. That is red hot, Boxy.
So that's one thing that's sort of got him out of trouble a lot today, is the Giants' pressure. And you'd expect nothing less. They're hungry for this win. They promised improvement in 2023. A second win would be that on a platter. But they're going to have to work for it. This Bunyip side is not giving in. A fiery start to this second half. The ball will be thrown back in on the wing. Who can assert themselves on this contest and push their team further ahead? No one really dominating this third term so far. Bunyip won it, centre wing. It'll be played on. Inside 50 now. Kick might hit the back of this contest, marked well. While the Giants skipper.
And they continue to do exactly what you were talking about before this third quarter. They just bomb it inside. No one's leading out properly, Boxy.
Yep, that's it. You've got to be a little bit composed, even when you are playing that quick, direct footy. Probably just look and assess the option before blasting that kick inside. The Giants have turned this one over. Massive clash between Wright and Fermanus, who's diving on the footy. Look at him going at it. Big pack. Probably could have used a handball there, but the kick comes out in front of the wing instead. Grab him and Squires that time. Kenny Weller get back to this one, but it's kicked away instead. Inside 50 for the Bulldogs. Who can get to this one first? It'll be the 200 gamer Besley. Does well. Shrugs a tackle and finds Finlay. Such composure there from the veteran.
That's just the experience he will bring to this side, Beasley. So now, at half back, the Giants hits the chest of Robertson. Got Grabham running for him on his right. Ignores the option. Goes straight down the line. Almost intercepted by the Dogs. But now the Giants are looking a little bit dangerous. Here's Dixon. Handballs it along to himself. Now going inside 50. Tunnel ball through the legs of Fermanus. And falling on his bum was O'Halloran. Slipped over in the mud there. And then the ball will go over there. And now, as you can probably hear in our mics, the wind is just starting to get a little bit stronger. Certainly not making it an easy task for the Bulldogs.
It is freezing as well, may I add.
Absolutely. Spun out of trouble. High contact in the way of Walker. Heel kick immediately. Looking for the big Fermanus. Couldn't get it. Now Koeman with it. Kicks it towards full forward. Mark! It's going to be paid. Great persistence from the Giants. And in front of goal, I think that's Dixon.
It is.
So Reece Dixon. How clutch would this be? Kicks one just before half time. And this would really hurt his opposition. Dixon. 20 metres out. Slide angle. He's got it. Korumburra+V+Bunyip extend their lead further. And this task continues to get harder and harder for the winless Dogs.
So they've been brave. They had another great start. But a missed opportunity on that first shot has cost them there, as Dixon has two in a row in this one. One, as we mentioned, on the stroke of half-time. And he's second there. Once again providing an awesome option ahead of the ball for the team in orange. Back in the middle now. Can the Bulldogs keep going? They've got to mount something here if they're going to stay in this one. In the middle. Banks gets rolled over in the tackle by Harris. Just been a ball today, Jed Harris. pretty much the perfect day to bring him in. He wins the free kick here and lets Banks know about it. This is Jed Harris conditions right here. Kicks a high one out in front of Grabham. He'll take it on the chest. Now Cumin working for him ahead of the ball. Walker as well. He'll just slap it up the line instead. Zach Walker's under it. Almost took the great contested grab, not quite. Cumin getting held. Handballs over to Jay Walker. Tries to, just shows the defender the footy and then handballs it on to Cumin. He's tackled immediately, gets it back to Walker. He can't take the footy with him though. McLeod. They worked it well here. Bunyip Ashton up the wing. Almost marked by Harris, not quite. Over the back. White inside 50. Great mark. Cody Walker with courage.
So wonderful read, wonderful intercept there. Cody Walker standing tall in defence. Caught a play on. He's got Steele chasing after him. Goes across the face of goals, looking for a switch here for his football club. Ball hits the deck, no clean mark. Great pressure there, Saunders, who's pushed up the ground a little bit there. Coming outside of inside forward 50. He's going to nominate himself in the ruck contest as well. So Saunders probably had the height advantage against Walker. Enters inside 50. Steele, big lead. Timed it wrong, but they've got the numbers at the back. 3v1. Bunyip must win this. Simple as that. Ball goes to ground. Ashton read it wrong. Slipped out of his grasp. Then handballed it across to another teammate in McLeod. Wonderful pressure. Giants holding the ball, and that looked like a almost certain goal for Bunyip. And all of a sudden the Giants have brought the pressure inside 50. Good punch, O'Halloran. I am left dumbfounded, Aiden Box, that Bunyip have not scored there.
Well, you mentioned how Korumburra have been a defend up high, and they did on that occasion, but it was just excellent work rate from Blake Webb, who worked down the ground and won that free kick. Huge goal-saving effort alongside Joel Greaves there, who was 2-on-1 at one point. And that's that fight and that desire to win that the Giants have today. Can Bunyip match it? Thrown in. Dunnan Hadrick. Fermanis just climbs on top of the footy. Slid it on his knees. Couldn't quite extract it. Banks. He threw it. So the Giants have won it back on half-back here. Joel Greaves. He's got an option upfield. Read really well there from Wolf. Back in the team today. Goes upfield. Right. This is Ben. Puts it up to where all the players are. Under it, almost taking the mark there. Saunders trying to clean up his own work. Couldn't quite. Squires. Pressured by Besley. Will the boundary line beat them all? It will. So they just get back to the contest so well, the Giants. Even if they defend up high or they're not quite there, their work rate's just, well, it's superior at the moment. Dogs will have to lift here to match it. Saunders and Finlay. Saunders takes possession, claimed high, and he'll have the shot. So another huge shot lies on the boot of Chase Saunders. Converted a beauty in the second term for their second. He'll look for their third to keep them alive in this term. What a big kick it would be. 45-degree angle. Kick from about 40 metres out. Strolls in. Goes to the right. Kick on the way. Never gave it a go. Out on the full. Bit disappointing, really. No score. Giants will win the ball back here, Baz.
So another opportunity gone begging for the Bulldogs. Another minor score, 6-4-40, plays 2-5-17 on your Totally Workwear scoreboard. Here's Cody Walker in the long sleeves. Kicks it out. Finds Finlay. And he does a little short ship kick, but missed the target. Bunyip must act here. Finlay did good to pressure the Bulldogs players. Just how is the extra effort there from Tyson Finlay? 1, 2, and third efforts. Brilliant. So kick forward by Byron Walker to Fermanus. Cumin going inside and intercepted by O'Halloran, who is having a wonderful third quarter. Now Ashton, he's playing a pretty good game himself. Cuts across. Now on the broadcast wing. And dropped there by Cody Walker. Dykstra just fell under in that marking contest. And you look at the scoreboard there, 2-5. 7 scoring shots. If they'd just been a little bit more accurate, might have been a much closer margin for the Bulldogs. Still in it though. Out of the ruck. Now going inside 50. No overhead mark taken on this occasion. Ball is very slippery in these conditions. So kick forward towards the face of goals. Finlay was just waiting there, preying on the Sharon. Giants have the numbers to get out here.
Besley finds Walker. This is Luke. Shares it again with Besley. Running up the field well, the 200 gamer. Puts it to a contest. They've got numbers out the back here. The Giants free kick. Going the way of the Dogs. So a crucial let off there. So White moves it on. Got an option upfield. Plays on immediately. Stewart, interesting thought process there, and they've put themselves under pressure. White back to centre half back. Interesting kick, almost marked by Dixon. Ashton mops up. Always finds the right place to be, does Ashton. Having a pretty good game on that wing, as we've mentioned. Now they've got possession, but no real options, so he's hoofs it up the wing for the Bulldogs. Cut off by Kennywell. Greaves got time. Shares it with Fermanus. Thought about the run of Jay Walker, goes instead with his boot inside 50, full forward, punch to the back of the stoppage. A lot of bodies under it. It's tapped around, still alive. Through the legs there of Wright. And we'll have a stoppage directly in front of Korumburra+V+Bunyip's goal, about 15 metres out. Another goal would really sting the Bulldogs here. Smith goes up in the ruck. Taps it towards a teammate, but the Bulldogs are first to it. And they can instruct going the barrel and finding Ashton, but he's dropped the mark overhead. Probably could have gone with the chest. They've turned it over here. Walker runs away without the footy, now picks it back up, and he's claimed by Ashton, holding the ball. Having a thrilling couple of minutes. Seth Ashton.
Been really good in that half-back sort of wing role, hasn't he?
Been outstanding. Provides a lot of run too. Kennywell turns it over though. Just puts a sky ball on the head of Smith. Had to compete. Did well. Bulldogs win it back. Back up to where it came. Kennywell punched away by Gallagher. Did really well.
So now at centre wing. Broadcast position. Still sits at 23 points. It's going to be a mountain to climb for the Bulldogs. So clearance, won by Spalls. And was crunched there in the mark. Still couldn't get there in time.
Great mark by Blake Webb.
Well, I was going to say, I think it was Webb who took it as well.
It's a bit sore though.
So now going down is Walker looking for Fermanus. Big spill. Slipped over in the mud. Smith trying to extract the ball out. Somehow ripped it free. And then he's got possession. Going to curl into a ball and hope for the best. Right there on the flank for Korumburra+V+Bunyip. 17 and a half minutes through this third term. Here's Walker. Spinning sort of kick. Looking for anyone. Oh, almost a mark there. Ball, line and centre, square in front of goal for Fermanus. He's kicked an absolute bag today. That's now 3. Full pull for Fermanus, the coach. He's having a day out.
He's leading from the front and his men are going with him. I mentioned it last quarter, but really that one was set up. That was all Reece Dixon. As slick of hands as you can get in these wet and blustery conditions. That's just incredible. And that's what he brings to that forward line for the Giants. He's been so good in the second and third term. Once again there, that was really a nothing contest, and just what you talk about one-touch plays, just the flick to Fermanis, opened him up into the open goal. He's got his third, as Baz mentioned. So dangerous inside 50, those two.
The difference though has been inside 50, just the groundwork. Bunyip have not been able to get clean possession when it's gone to ground level inside 50, whereas you just saw there Paul Fermanis, wonderful work from the veteran.
So back in the middle, they're still climbing in on the footy. Great to see neither side giving an inch. But it's going to be quite the task now for the red, white and blue if they are going to come away with their first win of the season. Hadrick and Dunn. Jay Walker in on it first, and he's claimed immediately by Banks. So I think Korumburra won't really mind if this is just another stoppage fest from here on out. Goals are pretty hard to come by. There's been some pretty special plays that are rewarded a goal so far. This one's a sky ball. Fermanis won't get there. Marked really well in the end by Petch. He's got Ashton working really well in this quarter, but he's pressured by Walker. Enough for him to drop the mark. They both pull each other off the football. Kenny Wells held. Free kick. Fermanis plays on from 50 metres out. His shoot to the goal square. Oh, Dixon couldn't quite reel it in. Another exciting play involving Paul Fermanis. The number 10 for the Giants is in everything today. Such an exciting player for them. He's got his hands on his head at the moment. He's probably sucking in the big ones. It's turned over again. Another fellow who's been everything, Jay Walker. Can't quite get the handball away though, and the Dogs go inside the centre square. 2-on-1. Besley did pretty well. Human, Finlay probably sold him into a bit of trouble there. Walker in and under. Finlay again. He's tackled and we have a ball up right in the centre circle. So you'd think the Dogs just have to score here. They have to find a major from somewhere. This time it's Steele in the ruck. Dykstra will track it back. Can't pick up the footy though. Calls for it here. Comes to him now. Still can't quite pick it up. Walker. Tracking back. I think it's Sproles. Very high kick. Dangerous one. Ashton's under it. Walker went to punch, then fell over. Allowed Ashton to get back to the footy. Another sky ball up the wing. Gallagher will be 2-on-1 here, and the boundary beats them all.
And Ashton, my goodness, you got to feel bad for him at the moment. Every time he's got the footy there right at the flank in defensive 50, there has just not been any options open for him. Really struggling to find anyone, as we'll have a boundary throw in. Time continues to tick down for the Bulldogs. Smith picks it up cleanly, was looking for Cumin. Couldn't find him, however. So another boundary throw in the works here. It's now a 30-point lead in favour of the Giants. Steele just reached out their hand to win the hit out. Grab him. Couldn't find a real option in the end, just had to go behind his head. And then lays a tackle as well. Could be high, umpire won't see it. And he'll just call for a regular ball up. Just inside the centre square. It was pretty even contest there in the ruck. And you might just suspect that Korumburra might park the bus here. Time is running thin. And they have got a healthy lead. So Finlay puts a high one up in the air. Walker looked dangerous. Fermanis out the back. He's kicked an absolute back today. Fermanis is loving his footy. 36 points are up by now, as the Giants are playing one of their best games of season 2023, Boxy.
It's a historic day. They come away with this win. They're playing such good football. They've got so much potential on all lines of the field. And what a story it is. Obviously had a tough couple years, but when you see them play like this, what does the future hold for them? I know it's going to be positive. They've just got to stick together. Such a storied and proud club. So great to see them play well, and don't they love it? Paul Fermanis, he's been mammoth for this club. Took on such a big role this year, becoming the head coach. And you see right there, he might coach them well, but he leads by example best.
He'd have to be leading 3 votes for today, surely. I know Jay Walker has been superb as well, but you couldn't go past Fermanis at this stage.
He's got 4 on the afternoon now. We're back in the middle. That throw escapes Jesse Boys, who will go again. Dunn and Steele now being moved into the middle. What can he provide the Bulldogs? They've got to mount something here. Now or never for them. Trying to burst through. Bodies everywhere around the footy though in these wet conditions. Comes out the back. Definitely claimed high there. Clear free kick. Couple of afters as well. So Luke Walker goes up the line. Or rather, that was Anderson. Fermanis again. This one's punched away from him. They try and win it back, the Dogs, but they're claimed at the contest. Smith puts the Giants back inside 50. Oh, held out the back. Does it get to the back? Barrett. Oh, can't take it cleanly. Won by Dixon. Still under pressure. Goes the snap. Does it bend back? Not enough. Marked well on the last line of defence by the Dogs. They just need to get a bit of control here. Sells the candy on Alloway. Does well. Gets it up the line. Punch though back inside 50 by the Giants. Steele meets Fermanis at this one. Sproles at the next contest. They're flying in. Bodies are going everywhere, the Dogs. But they can't quite get the ball going inside forward 50 at the moment. It's where it needs to be. The Giants, they were really tested in that second term. And really since that Dixon goal, have looked a bit unbothered. Thrown back in. Walker tackled and we'll have another stoppage. This one's not past the Bulldogs. You know they're not going to stop giving, but they need to find some scores from somewhere. Steele will get the free kick here. Can he find a runner off the back? He's a bit shaken up. So instead, I think it'll be O'Halloran who will take it. He'll just put it up the line to a contest. Probably not the smartest kick, and he'll go out of bounds. So 26 minutes gone in this third term now, the premiership quarter, which has really been dominated by the Giants after the Bulldogs had the first shot of it. And this is getting harder and harder for the boys from Bunyip. Going to have to mount a really big fight back here. Trying to burst through that stoppage, that won't work. Great tackling effort there by Harris and Smith. Mentioned it's Harris conditions here. And he uses Cody Walker on the run, inside 50, kick in front of Dixon coming from the back, can't quake the mark. Fermanis, surely not another one, gives the handball off. Bunyip have an opportunity to mop it up. Doesn't go very far though, and that'll do it. The third quarter was really owned by the home side. And they stretch the margin. They lead 8-5, 53 to 2-5, 17 on the Totally Workwear scoreboard. On a wet day at Korumburra Banner, it was owned by Paul Fermanis and his men. 1 quarter is all the Bunyip Bulldogs have to get their first win of the season. We'll take a break and bring it to you when we get back.
Michael Vanderkluster, but everyone knows me as Vander. I own a company called Vander Surf, and I've been making boards for 23 years. When I started, it was all hand shaping and templates off the blank, and then as CNC surfboard shaping machines came into more availability, I started designing on the laptop and designing in 3D modeling. It allows me to be creative, express, my artistic side of making surfboards. My favorite part of shaping boards is I really enjoy the interaction with the customer. I love making surfboards for other people. If I can make a board that's going to make them enjoy going surfing more, that's what I get the most joy out of.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
So welcome back to the Fairhaven Homes Match of the Round stream in the West Gippsland Football League. We've had a bottom of the table clash today, 11th versus 12th. Korumburra+V+Bunyip Giants versus the Bunyip Bulldogs, and at this current stage, Korumburra+V+Bunyip are looking likely to get not only their second win over the Bunyip Footy Club in season 2023, but their second win of the year altogether. They've put on a great performance, mainly through the likes of Paul Fermanis and Jay Walker. And if the Bulldogs are going to try and get this done, they've got to do it quick. They have got 20 minutes of football to try scrape this lead back and maybe get it to a bit more of a respectable margin, or if they're feeling brave enough to win. Going to be a real tough task though. 8-5-53 to 2-5-17 on your Totally Workwear scoreboard. Fourth quarter about to get underway. You hear the Giants boys getting around their team. It is absolutely freezing here in Korumburra in the rain. Fourth quarter underway. Let's see how this one goes. So ball hit out by the Giants. Little toe poke, went a really long distance inside the forward 50 for Korumburra. Bulldogs pushed over, and Korumburra, you can already tell they are not going to line up on this defence at all. Already screaming for ball. 20 seconds into this fourth quarter, exiting it out. Dixon took a falcon to the face, but the Bulldogs are now out. They need a bit more of this in this fourth quarter. Ball overshot the forward's head and grabbed him, slid to ground. It was White who had the ball soar over his head, Aiden Box.
So that's again the run from Ashton. It worked on that occasion. You can see how dangerous he can be. But once again, just breaking down inside 50, unfortunately, for the Bulldogs. They've got a lot to do. It would have helped them massively if they could do it early. This long kick back up the wing should have been cut off by the Bulldogs. Mark dropped. Now at the back, the Giants can push. But a great tackle laid. And we'll have a throw in. So as we mentioned, they just need to go direct, but they need to kick the ball to advantage instead of giving it so much height and just not really thinking and dumping the ball. But they have to do it pretty quickly. They've won this one. They come out of the stoppage, kick inside 50 now, and it's marked, played on, kicked in the way of Dykstra, diving mark, can't mark it. Picks it up though, left foot snap, he's got it. They're alive, the Bulldogs. Alex Dykstra kicks the first of the final term.
That's exactly what they needed, Boxy. Exactly what the doctor ordered. Great mark from Petch there, and I thought he was a bit silly to play on and kick it towards Dykstra, but his forward craft was great. He's had a bit of a quiet one today, but first goal of the game. Bulldogs now down by 30 points, still another 5 goals to tie it. But, you know, footy can really provide you anything, can't it? Still an extremely tall task. Back in the centre square after the Bulldogs goal. So hit out one there by Hadrick. Saunders has gone into the middle. Steele wanted the free kick, still has possession, trying to find Saunders. He got rid of it, dished it off by hand, was looking for Wright. And the Giants have trapped it in successfully. We'll have a stoppage just outside of 50 for the Bulldogs. Thrown up. No one could get a hand to it. Saunders had the ball go through his legs. Walker, clever soccer, found its way over to that man in Paul Flamanis who's having a day out. And umpire will say, let's have a stoppage and a ball up at centre wing, right in front of the Ross family stand, Aiden Box.
So, what can they muster here, the Dogs? Got the first of the term. Can they capitalise on that with another one and put a bit of pressure on the home side? Funny what can happen in footy when a little bit of pressure is put on the team with the lead. You saw that last night in the AFL. Can we see it happen again here? Thrown up. Bodies everywhere around the pill going nowhere. And we'll have another ball up. You just love to see players on the move here for Bunyip. Make something happen, risk losing the game to win it. Hadrick tries to find Banks. He's claimed immediately. Korumburra+V+Bunyip players, one holding the ball, and they're going to get it. So Jesse Boyd, hot on that one. That's one way to break out the stoppages. Guess who? Paul Flamanis inserting himself up the ground to start this fourth term to try and solidify this win for his side. Unrealistic attempt there from, I think it was Walker. Bunyip have won it back. Bit of afters going on here. His bodies are picked up off the ground. It'll be Craven's kick at half back. Has to find an option here. Instead just dumps it back up the wing. Flamanis is under it, uses his body well, can't take the mark. Body's still flying around everywhere. Tackle's laid. And we'll have another stoppage. And this is exactly what the Giants are going to do all quarter if they have to. Just lay bodies on bodies and bodies on the ball and just have stoppage after stoppage. They won't care how much they win by, let me tell you. They just want those 4 points. Trickles out of the stoppage here. And the free kick's paid back at the stoppage. Pretty late if you ask me. Either way, Flamanis has won a free kick again. He's got Grabham in the middle. Still in the middle, Geordie Grabham. Decides better of it. Goes up the line instead. Finds the deck, no mark. Play goes on and out of bounds now. So they wouldn't care if this is really unpretty, the Giants. They're just going to fight to this win. But the Bulldogs, they have to make it pretty. They have to get some pace on this ball, Baz. They have to make something happen here.
They certainly do. Korumburra+V+Bunyip inching closer towards goals. You'd say one more does it. And they'll get the 4 points considering how wet it is here. How cold and how windy it is as well. Multiple long sleeves out today. Thrown in. Wonderful boundary throw in, might I add. There you go, you're just seeing the creation of stoppage after stoppage, as Boxy said just before. Thrown up. Running out of the contest are the Giants. But here are the Bulldogs. They've got a bit of space in the middle now, but they've been outnumbered at the contest here. Walker's going to go to ground. It's going to be thrown up inside the centre square now. Here we go again. Saunders punched out by McLeod. They've got the numbers. Ashton sends it inside forward 50. Dykstra was leaking out the back there. Ball didn't make his way over to him though. Players just scrumming to get a good hold of the footy. We're going to have a stoppage here, directly in front of goal, 40 metres out, Boxy.
So another one just puts a bit more pressure on the Giants. Ask a couple more questions. Where can the Dogs find it here? A lot of bodies around the stoppage. They'll need someone to get on the run, make some space. Falls to the deck, grab him. Can't go anywhere with the ball. Banks just shoos it. Dykstra's after it. Tries to pick it up. He's pressured immediately. Throwing the body in is Saunders. Cody Walker picks it up. Going nowhere. And there should be another stoppage here. Look at the bodies around that footy. So hard to extract and find that space. Got two forwards in the square here, the Dogs. Everyone else is around it. Aside from the defenders upfield. And that's where the ball will go off the boot of Finlay. Under it is done. They're punching it to the boundary line of the Bulldogs. And it will get there. Good work there from Wolf. So couldn't capitalise on that inside 50, the Bulldogs. Can they get another one here though? Giants at the moment just looking that bit more experienced and showing their strength to hold this one in their hands. Extracting it from the stoppage now, doing really well. I think that was Cumin, it was. They've got it at half forward. I think this is Barrett. Goes inside 50 for the Giants, almost the mark. Can't take it though. Bunyip winning the free kick. I'm not sure what it was for, might be for high. They have to go quickly here. Can they get a switch? You have to just go there. He does. O'Halloran will be the recipient. It's a good kick, but it bounces off his chest. And now Robertson's in the game. Tries to shove him off the ball, but he'll just sit on it. O'Halloran. And it'll fall out of bounds off the hands of Besley in the end. So I didn't mind that from the Bulldogs. It's just a skill error. It might cost them, but you've got to risk losing the game to win it. Thrown back in play. Cody Walker will go up in the ruck. Instead, it's won by the Bulldogs. This kick will go about 2 metres, but it'll go 20 in the air. So not paid. Cumin first to it. Accompanying him is Walker, and he comes away from the stoppage. Kick doesn't hit a chest though. Walker, this is Cody. He'll jump on it. Bursting through the Bulldogs. Trying to get something to work here. And now Cody Walker's been held without it. And he'll take the shot. So you just had a feeling that might happen. The Giants just leading the Bulldogs to the footy at the moment. And Cody Walker, who's been pretty stout in defence today. Really setting them up in that first term. He won't have the shot. Instead, he goes to Besley. And believe me, if Nick Besley kicks this goal, this place will be rocking. His 200th match for Korumburra+V+Bunyip. Beloved by so many. Nick Besley can put an early dagger in the heart of the Bulldogs. He'll kick from about 35 metres. Give it 40. Slight angle. Screams of how long. Won't worry him. He comes in. Nick Besley kicks on the way. Looked pretty good. Faded late. It's just a behind. So 8-6 now. 54 plays 3-5-23. Dogs got to get a wriggle on, Baz.
Certainly do. Lead sits at 31 points for Korumburra+V+Bunyip. They are in prime position to get their second victory of season 2023. Remember, they only had the one win last year, and that came against Garfield by 4 points in round 5 of 2022. Clean, strong mark from Saunders, who kicks it down onto the wing. Here's Gallagher, taps it along. Finlay's gonna beat him. Over the boundary line it goes. It is very, very cold. Thrown in, Hadrick. Won the hit out. Now just a bit of congestion building up. And as we've mentioned multiple times, Korumburra+V+Bunyip, they're happy to play this game. So the rain continues to pour on top of us. There's a lot of orange around the ball here. Can the ball be ripped free? Out on the full. It will be. And that will be going in the way of Korumburra+V+Bunyip. So he's got Smith to his right if he wants him Walker. He'll decide against it. He'll just go straight up the line towards the contest. And it should go over the boundary line, and in fact it will. And there's a Giants player that looks a little bit sore there, hobbling along, trying to see who that might be. That was an interesting boundary throwing in the wet boxy.
So the Giants are doing this really well. Can't talk highly enough of them today. They've shown great bravery to weather the storm in the second term, and now they're holding on beautifully to this win. For the Bulldogs, searching for that first of the year. A pretty historic one if they did it from here now. Still trailing by 31 points. They need something out of this, but they'll only get a stoppage. So a win here would gain great momentum for the Giants as they go in to a meeting with Kilcundabass here next week. Taken well here by Besley. Just kick up the line to find the chest of Saunders. He'll just kick a high one back to full forward. They've got bodies under it. No mark though. Galahar gets the crumb. Drops it to ground. Bodies climbing on top of it. And we'll have another stoppage. Arms of the umpires getting a lot of work today. We've had a lot of these. Love to see someone on the move here in the red, white and blue. It's punched away though. Comes to the pocket. Still clambering after it. And the boundary line will beat all comers. Conditions have just a bit worsened a little bit in the last few moments here.
This rain has been persistent for, well, I'd say at least 2 hours now. It just hasn't let up.
Welcome to Korumburra. Beautiful part of the world, and that's a beautiful snap from Dykstra across the body. Just missed. But that's the sort of thing they have to try and produce, the Bulldogs. Something out of nothing, just to get them going, get a bit of momentum. That time not finding the middle. So the deficit at an even 30 now. It's in the hands of Geordie Graham, Baz.
I'll probably give them 10 minutes to do this, the Bulldogs, and this is just how they're going to do it, putting pressure on inside 50. Well, unsuccessful. Besley, clean kick across the face of goals to find Finlay. We will patiently wait. Plays on. Someone avoids the tackle. Not really, because here's McLeod. Scoops up the ball. Bomb inside 50. Dykstra overhead. Couldn't take a good grab. And then the Giants can push it out. Besley, clearing kick. None of his teammates took the mark there, so it's going to go to grounds. I think that's Fermanis charging into the turf there. And he looks a bit sore as well. Maybe that's not Fermanis, sorry. I can't see who that is on the ground. Ball will go back inside defensive 50 for Korumburra. Besley falls to his knees after getting the kick. Dixon. I think that is Cody Walker who fell over before. Smith has a lot of space to play with. Kicks it almost immediately. Now inside 50 for the Giants. Cuman didn't have possession of the footy, was ripped away from it. Robertson, so persistent, trying to scoop it up. High contact free kick. Korumburra are going to have another opportunity in front of goal. And it's going to be Cuman. 50 metre penalty paid as well. And if there was even a glimmer of hope, that is now just being killed. dead in the water. Korumburra going to pick up a victory today. This to make it 36 points. Joel Koeman, calm as ever.
Listen to the horns, it's a beautiful sound. Haven't heard too much of it here in the last couple seasons. They've been unlucky, but they're going to be on the winners list today, the Giants. They're supported so well, so often, and they deserve this one. They've been every bit a deserving winner today. Played some great football, played dirty football when they had to, played slick football when they could. For the second time in 2023, looks like they're going to get the better of Bunyip. Unless the latter can produce something magnificent and incredible here. Hadrick and Dunn both trying to tape it backwards, but it falls to the front. Dunn climbs on top of it. He's claimed by Hadrick, and they'll do it all again. Rain's starting to get heavier and heavier, as I'm sure all the boys are pretty keen to get warm and get inside. Just about everything you expect here at the day at the footy at Korumburra. We thought we'd get away with it. How silly we were. But credit to all the players out there today. They've played a sensational game of footy regardless of any conditions they were faced with. And it's been a great battle. The Bulldogs need a miracle here to wrestle it back. They'll have at most about 10 minutes left here. They've given away the free kick. And another 50.
Jeez, they're giving away, what, 3 or 4 now, the Bulldogs?
So that's probably the first thing you'd see if you read the book of things you should not do to give up a game. It's done, moves it on to Kennywell, he's claimed instantly. Here's Walker, tried to get after it, run over the footy, and they've turned it over though, the Dogs, so they did well in the end. Steele, pressure well by Grabham, who was undermanned in that contest. And he'll win the free kick too. They've been brilliant today, Geordie Grabham. Not the tallest fella, but he's played really well down back for the Giants. Such a key inclusion. And he's kicked it up forward, and Koeman will win a free kick, and he's played on and put himself in trouble. No! The umpire hasn't called play on.
That is stiff.
So a controversial one could seal things here for the Giants.
Koeman's going to get 2 goals back-to-back from 50-metre penalties.
So I can see both sides of that one. As Koeman definitely took a step and looked to get on with it, but the umpire didn't see it and didn't call play on. So by the book, it is 50. He runs in and puts the Bulldogs to bed. Korumburra is going to get their second win of the season. Joel Koeman with 2 late goals has sealed the deal. Party time in the borough. 10-6-66, plays 3-6-24 on the Totally Workwear scoreboard. 20 and a half minutes gone, Baz.
So, Bunyip, a winless season looms large unless they can get something done against the Korumburra, as we mentioned in the pre-game show. They're really the only other team I can see Bunyip getting a win against. Luckily, their dismal percentage won't take too big of a hit, as this one hasn't gone into triple figures like many of the others. Still, 25% is really poor, no matter what level you're playing at. And here we go again. Another clearance for the Giants. Finlay at the middle. Red Hots. Besley was leaning out strong there. Should be ball. It will be. Fermanis there. One of his few mistakes he's made all day. He's actually had acquired a 4th term. Great leap up there to affect that contest. So just ticking on to extra time now. Can't be too much long left. And I'll tell you what, some of the boys in those short and just the regular jerseys and not the long sleeves, I bet you they're dying for a hot shower right now. So I know I am. Free kick given away. Again by Bunyip, have been so undisciplined in this fourth quarter. It's been a really disappointing showing in this final quarter of footy by the Bunyip Bulldogs. Besley, big fly, couldn't grab it. Alloway was taken high. Justified free kick, and Besley looks a little bit sore after as well. And
He's got to get up. He's got to party tonight.
That is the third 50-metre penalty paid in a row. 3 goals directly in front. At some stage, you just have to let it go. And Alloway's going to smash that one home as well. Deservingly so. And I must say, Bunyip, at this stage, just take your loss and go home. You do not need to continue that sort of behaviour when you're down by this much.
It's just frustration. They've obviously had a tough year. It's not easy. They had a stretch of 5 losses, all by 100+ points.
Oh, but even
And you just see them losing their heads here.
even at that though, like, that's still no excuse to give away 3 50-metre penalties directly in front of goal. That's just silly footy.
Well, what they have done is they've got the home crowd involved. They're happy. And I mentioned before, Besley went down, but got straight back up. There's no chance he's going off on his 200th. He's going to enjoy tonight with a couple of his best mates in orange. It's been superb today. They've built great momentum into next week's huge clash in the Gary Gus James Cup. Which will be here at the showgrounds again as Kilcunderbass come to town. But as you mentioned, for Bunyip, as Kennywell comes away with the footy for the Giants, they've just got to show better composure than this. We've asked for it all day. They'll have another opportunity next week against Garfield. Another team who sit in the bottom 3, albeit playing much better football. They'll need to be better in that one, but they are a chance.
You mentioned Korumburra against Kilcunda as well. The way, I haven't checked the score since half time, but the way Kilcunda were going against Phillip Island, they'd be running low on confidence as well. They were getting absolutely thumped by the Islands, so who knows? They might even be able to get a scalp over Kilcunda.
Kilcunderbass are without spearhead Taylor Gibson at the moment as well. He's gone on holidays. So they'll be without him next week as well. They're obviously without him today, and at the moment, well, I think at half time when the scores were updated last as we go around the grounds, at home they were trailing Phillip Island by about 10 goals. So they'll be hungry for a win next week, but the way this Korumburra side is showing fight as they go out the back for another one, and they get it. Floodgates have opened in this final term. That one comes off the boot of Cody Walker, who deserves that goal. He's been sensational today. More joy for the Korumburra Giants. 12-6-78, they lead it to 3-6-24 on the Totally Workwear scoreboard. Just a few more scores from around the ground. Coral Inn completing the upset, you'd think, over Nanagoon have been inaccurate. 10-10-70, they lead them for 11-35 by 35 points. So that's a pretty good result if they are to get that one done. And Darlston and Cooey up, they're locked in a ripper. 40 playing 43. The Magpies leading that one last time I saw the update. So the result of that one will be pretty important as well for both those sides. And Tooradin Delmore led the Warragul Industrials by a couple kicks last time that one was updated as well. So another huge game in the West Gippsland competition today. But the story at the Korumburra Showgrounds today has been the home side. They've been tremendous, and their captain's got him inside 50 once again, and here he is! Nick Besley! Beautiful kick, beautiful lead, a chest mark, and he's got another shot on goal. And in terms of icing a cake, I'm not sure there's better tasting icing than what this would be right here. The 200 gamer. Mentioned off the top, playing alongside a few fellas he taught in primary school. He's come back from multiple knee injuries. And he's in a side that's coming back from misfortune. Nick Besley from 45 navigated a ride. Unfortunately, kicking like a defender today, but he's been sensational as he always is. 2 behinds to his name.
I've been trying to find Korumburra's wins over the last couple of years because it's hard to think of a game that comes to mind where they've won by this much in recent times. It has been an absolute thumping today. Hats off to the Korumburra Giants. But here's a little bit of run from the Bunyip Footy Club to end off this one. Running for it is Ashton. Was just outbodied there, wasn't he? So helicopter sort of ball goes out to the wing. Kenny struggled to pick it up. Eventually got a good piece of it. Low sort of kick. Had to come off the boot of Wolf. McLeod has a surprisingly clean jersey. Kicked inside. Gallagher off the deck and he's missed directly in front and hits the pole as well. But I reckon McLeod must have got a new jumper from one of the fights because there is no way that there is not a patch of brown on that jersey.
Yeah, it's one of the hallmarks, isn't it? How'd you go today? Well, if it's wet and you've got mud on your jersey, you went pretty well usually. And if you're clean, then usually cop some stick. So, fortunately for him, he might be copping some today after the game.
So, from full back goes Zach Walker. Hits up the other Walker and Cody. Then back over to Zach. 28 minutes now. You can only think that seconds would remain. Macri in the pocket. Calls for a man to come towards him. He's going to look for Kenny well. The ball went really outward though, and Ashton can attempt to make the margin a little bit healthier. Potentially with a kick after the siren as well. He's been one of the Bulldogs' best today in his half-back role. He's worked really hard, just fortunately hasn't got the same sort of performances back from his teammates. Really low kick, won't make the distance. And you just wonder, how would the Bulldogs go if they had leads like that all game? So now sitting in front is White. Should kick this. Oh, it just does. Almost shaves the goalpost there. But Bunyip add a little bit of brightness to this very dark afternoon.
As we had a bit of a spillage through our rain cover here. Beautiful day at Korumburra as usual.
That is very unfortunate. Wow, that is a lot of water. Just, obviously you're not seeing our cover here, but there was so much rain building up on that cover. It is absolutely sliced through it like a knife.
It's a absolutely perfect day to be a duck out here at the showgrounds. But that's footy, and we love it. It's a winter sport, and there's no sport better. Gotta love your country footy, and credit to the Korumburra faithful. They've come out in force. They're unbothered by it. And the 23 that have represented them today have not let them down by any stretch at all. They'll enjoy this one. Just their second on the season, as we mentioned. Bunyip will remain winless. And they'll come out hard next week against Garfield as they try and look for their maiden win on the season. So just over 30 minutes there. I can't be too far left in this one. Back in the middle, Kennywell wins the clearance to centre half forward for the Giants. Punched away. First two at the Bulldogs. Trying to burst through, they get there. And they climb in on top of it once again and they extract it to Banks. He just slaps it on the boot. Gets it to centre half forward for his side. Dykstra first to it. Gets the hands over the top. Steele. But he threw it according to the umpire. And Walker, he's been pretty good on return. Win the free kick back for the Giants. He'll just cruise off the line and bang it up in the air to his skipper, Kennywell. Takes the mark right in front of us here, well. And they call slick. Plays on. Gets a bit of pressure and puts it into the middle. Punched away from the markers there. Coming hard at it is Cumin. Great handball, Walker. Puts it out in front of Dixon, over his head though. Out the back, Besley. Can he get his goal now?
Bang!
Oh, he's missed across the face. Size around the ground. That could have been his moment.
3 different shots, man. That's so unlucky.
Unfortunately for the Giants, he's missed 3 times, including that one from straight in front. I'll laugh that one off though. It matters not. He's got to win in his 200th game, and they'll absolutely love it.
So, Bulldogs at full back. Spores kicks it up forward to his men. It was Petch. Tried to handball it to his teammate. It was met by a sea of orange though, who were going to try and get a re-entry inside 50. I thought that was a bit of high contact. Umpire says no, and we'll just have a quick stoppage. And there goes your siren. Korumburra, after 12 long hard weeks of footy, are victors once again against the same football club as well. And this is a great victory. They have won by 49 points at home, and they have a big match up against Kilcunda next week, where they could potentially win. Besley gets it done in his 200th as we move on to our post-game show, and we'll do our votes. Now, Boxy, we were discussing our 3-2-1 at 3/4 time, and it seems obvious who our 2 and our 3 are going to be, but what really might intrigue our listeners here is who's going to be 1. For me personally, I have Tyson Finlay. His work was really good out there at that half back, and his running carry as well was really good. Won a lot of contested footy, and although Bunyip weren't too much of a challenge in that 4th quarter, and the margin was extended to 49 points, Finlay did a really good job at defending that Bunyip offense in the stages of the game where, you know, it was really close.
Yeah, he was tremendous, and they brought him in for that sort of leadership and the bravery, and to lead by example the way he does. He's such a smart footballer, and he works really hard. So he definitely deserves 1. I've gone with Cody Walker. I think in that first term where they really broke away and put their foot down, he was crucial for them. He racked up a lot of touches in the first few moments of the game on the last line of defence. He uses his great skills and provides a lot of run, and set up their really fluent ball movement in the first term, and then finished with a goal in the final quarter. So really a 4th quarter effort for him, and I think he deserves 1. And then obviously in my second spot, I've got Jay Walker. He just provides so much at all parts of the ground. You see him go contest to contest, and as a midfielder in country footy, especially on a day like this, it's exactly by the book what you want. And as a young fella, really, he's just got a massive career ahead of him, and he really enjoy it in the orange. So who have you got?
Yeah, 2 votes as we see Besley here being carried off, guard of honour from both sides, and he's had a brilliant 200 games as well, so congratulations to Besley. Unfortunately, he won't be getting my 2 votes though. 2 votes, yeah, how could you go past it? Jay Walker, his work around the contest was superb, and even in the wet, there were so many occasions where he looked so clean, and his ability to kick it inside 50 and create opportunities for his teammates. Yeah, I don't see how you could go past Jay Walker for 2, but won't be getting the 3 because I assume that you'll be selecting him as well, Boxy, but 3 is easily Paul Fermanis. Had an absolute day out today. Was just really that game-breaking centre-half forward, almost kind of like your Jakey Stringers, who can go into the middle, win contested footy and make a real difference, but his ability to hit the scoreboard is just so valued by this footy club as well, and I feel like when he was celebrating his goals as well, he's really getting around his teammates, and I reckon that's probably what got them up at the end of the day.
Yeah, I've got Paulie as well, and it's just such a historic win for them in terms of what they're doing. Obviously in the off-season they lost Lee Cole, who was supposed to be committed as their coach for the future, and unfortunately he decided to jump ship, and Paul Fermanis was put on pretty late in the piece, as I mentioned, and you just see the buy-in from his players is just outstanding. The way they celebrated the goals with him, they love him, they buy into everything that he is selling them, and he's just really he's really got them fighting for him. You saw when they all backed him up in that melee over on the wing in the first half as well. And for what they're doing, they've now improved their win total to 2 after just the 1 last year, and it's just such an amazing win. And it's just great to see the players really fight and get in and get their hands dirty and work hard. They had a lot of people leave the club in the last couple of years and really turn their backs on the hard work, but the sort of town that Korumburra is, they really get their hands dirty and they love the work. It doesn't matter if it's hard for them, they always go in and fight, and that's what they're all about. So it was great to see them win today, and we haven't really got any updates so far on the around the grounds, but obviously in terms of the top 6, Coral Inn and getting the win over Narnagoon is pretty huge there. Phillip Island getting the job done, and IK getting the job done as well. And then Tooradin, Dalmore and Warrigal, that's a massive result to keep your ears out for. But here today, Paul Formanis and his men got the job done for the second time in 2023. They got the better of the Bunyip Footy Club, who still go winless, and they look good as the Gary Gus James Cup comes up next week. For the Bulldogs, they'll have Garfield at home.